Hey, what's up everybody? It's Chris with Committed3d Tech, and today is finally the day that everyone's been waiting for. The 1,000 subscriber appreciation giveaway contest has finally concluded. So if you're watching this video, likely you're here to see the winners get picked. We're gonna do that at the end of the video. Also, what we're gonna do is we're gonna review the contest and we're gonna talk about the impact that all of you have had in the world throughout these past 2 months. And also stick around for the end of the video because I want to talk about the really special circumstances that make me really appreciate these winners a lot more. So why did I choose kind acts as the way to enter the competition? The main reason is because when you do something nice for somebody, when you show an act of kindness, something happens in your brain. A chemical called oxytocin gets released. Oxytocin is the same neurotransmitter that gets released in the brain, for instance, when a baby sees their mother. That's the same chemical that gets released. And so what happens is every single time that you do something nice for somebody, you get that phenomena in your brain where you get this great loving feeling of happiness and kindness. And not only you receive it, but also the person who you did the kind act toward receives it. And then even further, let's say you tell somebody about it. You go home and tell your wife or your husband or your kids or your mom or your dad about it. They get a shot of oxytocin as well, and you get another shot of it as you're sharing that with them. And then as soon as, it could be even a total stranger, if they hear about this act of kindness or if they see you doing the act of kindness, they get that as well. And so they become more inspired to pay that forward as well. So let's talk about the impact that you had during these past 2 months. So there are way too many kind acts for me to go over all of them. So we're going to talk about I'm going to scroll through and we're going to talk about some of the funny ones and then also some of the ones that meant the most to me. I have paid over $3,000 in truck and insurance payments for my partner as we are both experiencing ridiculous struggles in trucking. I gave $2,000 to a relative's son who was involved in an accident, not a loan, but a gift. This one's really great here. Hey Committed3d Tech. Last weekend I was riding my Harley out on the country roads of McKinney towards Princeton when I came upon another gentleman in his 60s stopped in the middle of the road on his Harley. It had broken down on him. I stopped and helped him push his motorcycle 100 yards to an open spot on the side of the road under some shade. He called his wife and she was freaking out. She couldn't load his ramp and drive his truck to him, so I offered to give him a ride home and to get his truck. His wife was so ecstatic when we pulled into the driveway that she gave me a huge hug and thanked me for bringing her hubby home safe. The hug alone was worth it. Cheers. Eric Adams said, guy knocked on my door and asked if he could cut my grass for some money. He said he had moved back to town because his father passed. He needed to get a new state ID and try to get a new job. I told him that I have my son cut my grass, but I gave him some money to buy the ID. I haven't seen him since, but I hope he's doing. I helped a grandma across the highway. I asked him the highway, and he didn't respond, so but that one was really, really funny. Dominic Negrete says, I work at a motorcycle shop, and a family came in and financed a bike for their 5-year-old son. They didn't have enough money to buy him gear, so I surprised them and bought him a helmet and some gloves. I think that's so special. Like, you think about a 5-year-old. My family growing up didn't have a lot of money. My wife's family was the same way. So like, this really touched my heart because that probably changed that kid's life for forever. Like, you think about the joy and happiness that he got from that. And to be honest, it might have even saved his life. You never know. Ron Danish says, I don't like to talk about what I do. Anytime I'm working in Philadelphia, I stop and get some food and pass it out to the homeless. I also bring old clothes I have and do the same. That's amazing. I'm so glad you shared that. Thank you. JB said, a neighbor had a tree fall on her house during the storm. Another neighbor and I grabbed a ladder and a chainsaw and cut it down, and then proceeded to turn it into firewood for her stove. Bokalaki says, I volunteer at a children's hospital here in Las Vegas once a week. On Wednesday, I help the nurses with supplies, clean the toys in the game room, provide the visitors with refreshments, and sometimes even get to play games with the kids. Congrats on 1,000 subscribers, and good luck with the channel. Oh, by the way, I would love to know who the one person who gave this video a thumbs down was. That is just mind-boggling to me. On a family camping trip, I pulled over to help a handicapped elderly man change the flat tire on his car. Okay, and there were so many of these. For my kind act was paying for the next person in line behind me at the Dunkin' Donuts checkout. There are so many of these where people paid for the person behind them in line, and like that is a huge way to show an act of kindness. I really love those ones. Here's a great one. Traject Beats said, I work in the technology field also. I noticed an elderly customer mistreated by another employee at Best Buy because she was asking too many questions about a smartphone she purchased from their store, and I could tell the employee was clearly annoyed by her, not knowing a lot about how to connect the phone to her car. When the employee stepped away, I offered to help her pair the phone to her car. She thought I was an employee at first, but I told her I didn't work there, but I have a ton of experience with technology because I worked at AT&T, and it's no trouble at all for me to help her. So I walked out to the car and got her phone paired and working within 2 minutes. She was so thankful, and as no one was able to help her, not even the dealership where she purchased the car, and neither Best Buy where she purchased the phone. It was a great feeling to help someone out, and I'm very blessed I have the knowledge to help others when it comes to technology. And honestly, Traject Beats, I'm so glad you shared that, because like I feel you. That's actually the reason that I started this channel in the first place, was to help people. And I mean, with the hopes of this becoming a full-time career sometime in the future, like that's just an added bonus. But like you said, to be able to help people with your skills, it's an amazing feeling. So thank you for sharing that with us. Oh my gosh, there are just so many comments to go through. It's crazy. I gave a homeless gentleman a pumpkin fritter on my way to work. Thanks, Tenchi. That's really nice. This one is great here. Illwill210 says, I'm an FDNY firefighter, and during work, I was standing in front of my firehouse when an elderly lady was walking by holding a bunch of bags on her way home from the supermarket. I put on my radio in case we had a call and grabbed her bags, which were surprisingly rather heavy, and carried them home for her. It was about 7 or 8 bags. That's really amazing. Like, you think about just stopping for a second to help someone out when you have the time. I mean, even when you don't have the time, like you were on the clock. And that's just really great. Thank you. Albert Papa said, I picked up trash on the parking lot. Way to go, Albert. Here again, I paid for the order of the car behind me at Starbucks. Hopefully that counts. I would love this kit. You think about how much you helped that person. I'm sure that they were so, I mean, just elated to see someone do something so nice for them. A lot of these happen too. Roger Ward, he says, I gave a coworker lunch for a week. This is another good one. Jay Selig said, I was at the dollar store and the lady behind me had some items in the cart. As I was leaving, I happened to notice she was counting out pennies and nickels to pay for items. To help her, I bought a $50 gift card to help her with the items. Granted, I have 3 kids of my own to take care of, but we have to show the love. Jay, I couldn't have said it better myself. This one's really great. David Carnes said, I was walking the block and I saw a neighbor's trash spilled out on the road. And I stopped and picked it all up and put it back in the trash can. Seriously, like, so amazing. I absolutely love that. George the Singer. I helped a woman out of the street that was about to commit suicide by helping her out to a nice warm meal and some baked goods. George, you rock. Jared Ledoux, he says, help you getting as many people I can to follow you on Facebook. I do it every day and post in XYO groups and all of my friends. Jay, I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. You're one of my greatest supporters, and I don't know if most of you realize this, but every time you smash the like button and subscribe to the channel, comment, and watch the videos all the way through, that helps my channel get bigger. It helps push the videos to a larger audience. The YouTube algorithm really loves that. So Jared, thank you for doing that. And everyone else who does that too, I genuinely appreciate it. Jacob Hack. I helped a friend who didn't know a lot about technology set up a Plex server at his house. I also copied his home videos from DVDs to his hard drive to upload to the media server. Jacob, man, coming from a techie, I just genuinely love seeing people help others who aren't as technologically advanced to better their lives. So awesome, man, seriously. This is great. C. Sean started a community garden in a low-income area, which is also a food desert, and created a rainwater collection system from an old satellite dish so money could be saved on water. He says, love the videos, I'm new to XYO and want to get more involved. See, Sean, man, that is amazing. Like, you think about how many people you just helped in that community. I mean, that's just absolutely amazing, seriously. Frank H. helped his aunt by putting all new brakes and rotors on her Jeep because his uncle just had surgery and couldn't do it himself. So he saved her a lot of money. Awesome, Frank, thank you. Matthew Sue, I helped my neighbor, which is really old, and she got locked out. I helped her by climbing through the window to unlock her door. Riza664 donated money to the Bahama Relief Fund. All right, narcotic. This is a great story, and especially with Veterans Day, just happened. I think it's really important to thank our veterans. That's a huge deal. So he said, I just got back 2 months ago from a 7-month deployment overseas in the Middle East. There are a massive amount of homeless kids and adults. One day, while out on Liberty with my friends, we ran into these two little local boys, and they looked famished, and their clothes were dirty. You could just see the anguish and pain in their eyes. I tried to talk to them, but they couldn't speak English fluently enough to communicate properly. So I did some makeshift sign language to ask if they were hungry. They both nodded, so I took them to the cafe nearby and ate a quick meal with them, paid for their food, and gave them some BD, which is their currency. Their faces go from despair to joy. It was amazing. I'll never forget it as long as I live. Thank you. Thank you for not only for doing that, but for sharing it with us. That means so much. ARD51306 says, I purchased candy for another employee's candy dish since I take from it from time to time. That's really great. Like, it's paying it forward. And I love seeing friends kind of try to one-up each other by just doing nice things for each other, because that just creates an endless circle of kindness. This one's great. Brady M. Walsh helped a deaf lady translate to the Walmart staff that she was trying to help her since the staff didn't understand sign language. Using your skills to help others and bless their lives. That's amazing. Thank you, Brady. And thank you for sharing it too. I gave Justin Smathers, I gave a stranger a compliment today. David Humphrey Jr., I purchased lunch for a military service member. Ocean Epperly, I recently saw someone in need and gave them all the money in my pocket. So there are seriously just too many comments to go over them all. But there you have it. Like, you just think about the impact you all have had in the world. So once again, thank you. I know the people that you did those kind acts for are appreciative as well. Okay, so let's announce the winners here. And I want to share the special story behind these two people. The winner of the XYO Geo Mining Kit is Be Humbled Life. And this was really special because when going from the comments, it makes it a little difficult to get in touch with whoever won. So I found him in the comments and I reached out to him there. And I also went to his channel and I reached out to him there. We talk about, you know, the whole purpose of this was to do kind acts. And you never know what situations people are in. So I watched Be Humbled Life's most recent video, and it was a story about him just pleading for us to reach out to veterans who have who are possibly struggling. And he lost one of his brothers in arms to suicide. And so he's just, years later, he's still feeling pain from this. And so the fact that he won the geo mining kit just meant so much to me. It really, it just took me by surprise. And I was super glad that he's the one who won. So be humbled, life. I've reached out to you already. I haven't heard back from you, but please get in touch with me as soon as possible so I can send you your free geo mining kit. On top of that, we had an XYO swag pack up for grabs, which is an XYO hat, a Gotta Mine Them All t-shirt, and a pop socket that you can put on your phone. The winner of that is, his tag name is Scott McCall. I'm really happy that Scott won, actually, because I'm gonna read you his comment. Scott said, "I have cancer. So before my treatment begins soon, my daughter and I started a charity. Currently, we drive around replacing basketball nets for free. I have my coin app open the entire time. Love your show." And he even says, "I'm not self-promoting, just adding the link to show my real story." And so here it is. I'm actually gonna tag a link for this down in the description for this video. If you wanna go and donate to it, I mean, his goal is so small, it's only $5,000. They have already gotten $2,100, but I mean, it's just amazing that here Scott is, someone who's going through definitely his own difficulties in life, and he decides to share his goodness with other people. So even though Scott won not from the kind act, as all of you know, the swag pack, you didn't have to do a kind act for that. That was just going and following me on Twitter and Facebook and things like that. But Scott, you definitely deserve this swag pack. So I'm extremely excited that it's going to you. With that, I would just like to say thank you again. I genuinely appreciate all of you, and I hope, even though you may not have won, that you understand you are a winner for what you've done. It's an amazing thing, and don't discredit the amount of impact you've had on the world just from this. So continue doing kind acts and share that love and goodness with other people. Last but not least, if you haven't liked and subscribed to the video, go ahead and do that. Also, comment down below and let me know what you would like for my next giveaway. We'll probably do a kind act thing again, but I'm open to different things. If you want it to be a laptop or cash or crypto or an Amazon gift card, just let me know down in the comments what you think would be good for the next giveaway. My name is Chris with Committed3d Tech, and we will catch you next time.
Broadcast day.